I love old race cars, and this is a cool one here. This is a C3, and you can see it's got a full roll cage. It doesn't have the windshield frame anymore. It's got big fender flares, side pipes. This is a super cool road race car. You can see those headlights have been filled in. I love the numbers and the lettering on this thing. The stripes are cool. Everything about this car is cool and vintage, and it probably makes some really good noises through those side pipes. We can see under the hood, it's got a small block Chevy under there, but I'm betting by the rest of this configuration that it has got a radical camshaft, lots of compression. You can see inside of here, it's all business. Got an aluminum Kirky racing seat and nothing else on the inside. Huge flares on the back for those big wheels and tires. This is a great combination. I couldn't help but notice this 62 Corvette, and this thing is a project for sure. It's stripped down to the bare fiberglass. You can see the bonding seams. I mean, this would be a big project, but it's all there. And it's a pro street car. You can see it's got a roll cage in the back, so maybe it has some drag racing history, but this thing looks really cool. It's sitting down nice and low. It's got a set of Torque Thrust D wheels on it and big Mickey Thompson stuffed up under the back. This thing would be so cool with a slick paint job and nice interior, but if I'm being honest, I'd probably drive it just like this. Heading back into the car show area, we got a 64 Corvette convertible. This is a red on red car. You can see it doesn't have any kind of crazy scoop. It doesn't have fender flares, but it does have a pretty wild paint job. You can see the red base on it is pretty slick on this thing, and it's got some really cool stripes that go across the deck area, the top, the hood, and even on the vent areas down on the bottom portion of the car. It was a good old school combination. Here's another Corvette. This is like a 53 to 55 car. You can see that this might be an aftermarket body. I can see some things that are a little different than original, like the windshield's a little different. I don't know exactly the full history on this thing, but it's got a really cool pro street look. It's painted orange. It's got weld wheels on it. It's got giant rear tires, and it's got a really stout looking big block in there. And then sitting right next to it is a car with matching colors, so I'm assuming they're related. Corvette drag cars are awesome because they make the purists cringe, and this one is extra cringy because it's a 63 split window coupe, one of the most desirable Corvettes on the planet. And you'll notice right here, right off the bat, there's something missing on this split window coupe, and it's the split. The split on that rear window has been cut out, and you'll see it's been replaced with just a 64 through 67 Corvette back glass. That's the kind of stuff they did back in the day. It didn't matter. These were not viewed as high dollar cars back in the 70s when these cars were raced on the drag strip. And this is a perfect example of that because this would be a six-figure car easily. And now, regardless of the value of the car, this thing has a great story to tell. It's got some great history, and we're going to dig into it right here. So this car is owned by Tom Clary out of Missouri. Now, Tom has several really cool cars, lots of cool Survivors and very significant cars, and this is just one from his collection. But Tom was able to document this car's history with the help of several previous owners and people who knew this car from back in the day, and he uncovered a lot of great history on this car going all the way back to 1969, which is when it was purchased by Jerry Sutherland and Estelle Townsend. So the way this partnership worked was Estelle owned the body and Jerry owned the engine. And in this original configuration, the car had a 292 cubic inch small block Chevy, a Muncie 4-speed, and they put an Olds rear end in the back to get rid of that independent rear suspension. So this car was sponsored by Performance Machine Service, and one of the co-owners was John Lingenfelter. It was painted black and orange at that time and hand lettered by Jim Studinsky of Advanced Sign Company in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This car was set up for NHRA competition in the modified production category, and it raced at the U.S. Nationals in 1970, 71, and 72. And not long after the car was running, Estelle ended up selling out, so this car belonged solely to Jerry at that point. And then John Lingenfelter came into the picture in 1971 when he traded cars with Jerry and ran this car for a very short amount of time. John ran this car with a D-stroke small block Chevy that was only 255 cubic inches. John Lingenfelter didn't have a lot of luck with this car at the 71 U.S. Nationals, so he ended up selling the car back to Jerry, complete, a turnkey car, and then Jerry sold it to John Schnelker and Rick Losher in 1972. John and Rick ran the car in the 1972 season with that 255 cubic inch small block, but ended up hurting the motor at the U.S. Nationals and switched it out for another small block Chevy, this time a D-stroked 327 which came out to 302 cubic inches. Another Lingenfelter built small block. So this thing was always Lingenfelter powered as long as it was on the drag strip. And around this time is when this car got a lot of drastic modifications. It got the narrowed Dana 60 rear end. You'll see on the inside a lot of tin work. All that was custom hand-formed aluminum. And then of course it got a 4-link suspension instead of the old school setup it had previously. Doug Nash 5-speed, and this is also when the car got a fresh look. So it was already white, but they repainted it and gave it a fresh lettering job. You can see the lettering on this thing is immaculate. All the old school stickers are still in place. I mean, this thing is a time capsule. Though it wasn't run on the national circuit anymore, this car raced until 1976, when it was retired from racing altogether, and then it was stored at L&S Alignment in New Haven, Indiana. So fast forward to 2019, this car had been in storage for decades, but it was sold. It ended up in South Dakota, and finally ended up in the hands of Tom Clary of Alton, Missouri. Now, Tom has owned a lot of significant cars, a lot of cool muscle cars and old race cars, and that's who's responsible for all of this research. I didn't do any digging on this. He's the one who dug up all the old pictures, dug up all the information, and really put the history of this car together. You'll notice this car also has a 67 style front end on it. So this thing competed as a 63 and as a 67 at different points in its career, but obviously it takes on this 67 personality with no split in the rear window, the 67 front end, but you'll still see that chrome A-pillar, which is a telltale sign of a 63 split window coupe. Under that big scoop, you'll see a traditionally styled small block Chevy. It's got an Edelbrock tunnel ram on it with 2 Holley 4-barrel carburetors. It's got Excel ignition and wires, and you'll see a really rare set of gold anodized valve covers. And these aren't your typical Morosos. These say Shadow on there, so that's a pretty rare piece. Then of course it's got stall headers, a very popular header design back in the day. It's got Krager Super Trick wheels. It's got old school tires on it. It's got a cable driven tack. It's got Bob's drag chutes belts. It's got all the right pieces for a period correct survivor. And you'll see some of that age coming through on the paint. You'll see that age on the interior. You'll see it on the engine components. This thing is the real deal. This thing definitely got my attention because it reminds me an awful lot of my Corvette, even though this one's got a little different stance. Now, this is a 63 Corvette split window coupe. It's basically the king of Corvettes. It's the most valuable that you can get, but the guy has put some ball joint spacers to raise the front end up. He's got Americans on there, just like what's on my car. A little bit different size tire than what I run, but a great 60s stance on this car. And sitting next to it is another vintage Corvette, and this one's got a little more age on it. This one's a little older car, and it's got an old paint job. You can see the black paint is starting to come apart on this thing, but this car's got so much character. It's just a great, tasteful car that you can get in and drive, and obviously he drives it. It's got a Hot Rod Power Tour sticker on there, so I'm glad to see this thing out on the road. And here we have Denny George's 1966 Corvette convertible. And this car is almost finished. My dad did all the paint and body work on this thing. It's a 66 model. You'll see it's got a 67 model hood. This is a Stinger big block hood. The rest of it's pretty legit as far as 66 model stuff. The engine is pretty much original. It's an original 327. It does have an aluminum intake, headers. It's got an aluminum radiator, but everything else is pretty much stock. Interior looks nice, all brand new stuff. They pretty much just cleaned the dash, but new seat covers, new carpet, a lot of new stuff on the inside, a lot of new trim pieces. And if we look on this thing, this car is going to have a really killer stance. It's got a set of Halbrand wheels. But what they did was they adapted these older Halbrand centers to these new Halbrand wheels. The new Halbrands don't have any kind of center cap. So they put these on there, and you'll notice they had to cut down this set of lug nuts, which Denny is a machinist by trade. And it's not his first rodeo when it comes to modifying a set of center caps or modifying a set of wheels to make it work on his car. Now this one gets an honorable mention because the car itself probably isn't a survivor. It looks like it's been restored. But what's really rare and interesting and definitely counts as a survivor is the clear bubble top roof. Now this is one of only 15 to 25 built ever. And I would imagine as far as what exists today, there's got to be less than 10. So this is an extremely rare piece, really cool to see this. And yes, I consider this a survivor because most of these things probably didn't make it. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you see more of my videos in the future. Check out this 1963 Corvette. Now this isn't the famous split window coupe. The Roadsters don't get quite as much glory as the split window coupe, but this is still extremely cool. The old black lacquer paint is starting to come apart, but it still shines up so good. But look at all that primer underneath. That is so cool to see this car out and about like this. A lot of Corvette guys don't display their cars in this natural state. They want to have them shiny and they want to have them really, you know, dressed up with all of the original components, the matching numbers, this and that. This car has a lot of character. You'll see the paint coming apart. You'll see the primer coming out from underneath it. But this is the product of a 60-year-old car that's never been restored. So I think it's super cool that they left it like this. I hope that they don't go back and completely restore this car anytime soon because this thing has lots of history just like it is. This is my little treasure that I bought from the swap meet. This is a 63 through 67 Corvette hood. It's got a 67 type scoop on it, but I love these little paint details. This is probably something somebody did with a spray can back in the 70s, but I just love it. It gives the hood a lot of character, and it's something I couldn't live without. There's nothing I love more than a custom Corvette, especially if it was done a long time ago. It drives Corvette people crazy to see these old cars cut up, but I just love the personality that comes out with these cars. And this one is really special. This one is owned by Patrick Hampton, and he calls it Burnt Sugar. Now, this thing is a true survivor when it comes to the paint and bodywork. All of these custom modifications like moving the tail lights, smoothing the quarter panels, you know, you'll see a lot of other little tricks on here. All of that was done years ago. And the paint was put on there a long time ago too. And you look inside, it's got button upholstery. That was done a long time ago. Basically, everything you see here is vintage. The only thing he did was make this thing roadworthy. You know, he updated a few things, got the brakes working, put some tires on it. But if you look back here at these tires, these are original M&H pie crust slicks. And they're kind of in rough shape, but he's driving on them. And this thing is just super cool. You see the side pipes, you see this gold paint job. They've taken away some of that trim, no front bumpers, just the little tiny bumperettes, and the tooth grill is cool. The scoop is cool. Everything on this car has a lot of personality and a lot of vintage flavor, but that's because it was done back in the day. Now here's another hot rod Corvette. This one not modified quite as much, but I just love the attitude here. This thing is just flat black. You can see inside of it. It's got a 4-speed. It is just a cool old hot rod. And you can also notice as we get around to the front, it's got a hole cut in the hood, tunnel ram with 2 4s. It's got American Racing 200S wheels on it, big and little tires. I mean, it's got the right stance. It's got the right attitude. You can peek down in there. You can see it's a small block, but this thing is pretty rowdy and definitely another cool Corvette hot rod. One of my favorite cars was this 61 Corvette, and this thing never sat still. I was never able to catch it parked, which is one of my favorite parts about it is he was actually driving it around. But check out the old school paint job. I'm not sure if that's authentic or if maybe somebody did that recently, but just listen to this thing. It is awesome. Now, if you're a Corvette guy, you're already shaking your head at those wheels that are on this car because they are not correct for a 71 Corvette or any C3 Corvette for that matter. But I have a sneaky suspicion that this car actually left the dealership with these wheels on it. This thing is really cool, and I'm glad I had the chance to dig in a little bit deeper on it, do a little bit of research on this thing, and enjoy, you know, just kind of going into nerd mode when it came to looking up part numbers and serial numbers and casting numbers and things like that to confirm that this is the original 365 horse 454 and the original carburetor, the original everything on this car. It's got an M24 speed in it. it is pretty legit. You know, it's had a few little things done to it. It's had electronic ignition. It's got an aluminum radiator in it. But otherwise, I mean, this thing is pretty much original. And there is paperwork in there that shows that the engine was rebuilt. You know, a few other things were addressed, the new clutch, new brakes, new things like that. But overall, this car's never been completely taken apart. Even the one repaint that it's had, that was a body-on situation. I don't think they even took the hood off or anything. This thing was kind of like a Mako type paint job. But it does have some great options. It's a 454 car, LS5. It's got air conditioning. It's got a 4-speed in it. You know, it's a good combination of options. And, you know, the interior's in great shape considering the age. It's not been restored. You can see a little bit of wear and tear on the seat. But overall, it is a very, very well-preserved car. Only 1,177 of these cars were built in this color out of the 21,801 cars that were built in 1971. So it's a really rare combination, and it's made even more rare by the very peculiar wheel situation. The original purchase order, and this car was ordered through Mission Chevrolet in California, the original purchase order, which is all handwritten as far as the options are concerned, it has 4 mag knockoff wheels listed on that purchase order. And my theory is that either Mission Chevrolet had a set of these sitting around in the service center, or maybe they contacted another local dealership and got their hands on a set of these Kelsey Hayes wheels to make the sale on this car for the owner. And just take a look at the condition of these wheels. They are in excellent shape, and all 4 of them have been removed off of the car, and they are legitimate Kelsey Hayes wheels. They've got the casting number in there. They're not Westerns. They're not reproductions. These are legit. And oddly enough, the rears are date stamped in 1968, which kind of adds to the confusion here because these wheels were originally manufactured in 65 and 66. And it kind of looks odd on this car because they're 6 inches wide. And of course, any C3 Corvette from 69 to 82 would have had 8-inch wide wheels on it. So it just doesn't really have the right stance. But I wanted to show this to you and talk a little bit more about it and go in depth when it comes to the overall look of this car and some of those odd options, and especially those odd Kelsey Hayes wheels. This is a cool one. This is a 1967 Corvette Coupe. And even though it doesn't have any extremely rare options, it's just a 300 horse 327, nothing really unusual. You'll see it does have air conditioning. But the cool thing about this car is that old paint, the old interior, the old everything. This is an unrestored car with over 250,000 miles on it. This is an unbelievably well-kept car. Even though the paint's rough on it, even though it is aged, this car is in excellent condition, and it's the highest mileage 67 known to exist. As always, I start every event in the swap meet because I'm looking for treasure. I'm looking for just a good deal, something that I haven't seen before. This is a 76 Buick Century station wagon. And what's really special about this car, aside from those turbo Trans Am wheels, the special stuff is in the back. So look back here. This thing is packed full of Corvette goodness. It's got factory fuel injection systems, it's got 2.4 setups, and it's got other stuff you can't see that's packed in there. This is an amazing collection of parts in a ratty old station wagon. Hang on just a minute, rewind the tape. Let's go back to the back seat. We got just barely a glimpse of this brake drum, and I believe that's a pretty significant part. Judging by the holes that are drilled in this brake drum, I'm pretty sure this is a 1963 Corvette Z06 brake drum. If that's the case, this thing, just this one, is probably worth $2,500 by itself. Crazy stuff in the back of this station wagon. The swap meet also includes a car corral with lots of great project cars for sale, including this really good looking 65 Corvette Coupe drag car. Now, drag cars aren't the most popular thing at a Corvette show because that means you've cut up an old Corvette to make it, but this one's really nicely done. It's got big tires under the back. It's got monocoque wheels on it, and you can see around here, around the corner, it's actually got the matching pair of rear monocoque wheels with old slicks. That goes with the purchase of the car. Really neat combination on this thing. It's got a great look. It's got wheelie bars. It's got a cool scoop. It's got a great stance. This will make a great drag car. Here's another drag car for sale. This time it's a 63 split window coupe. Now, I'm not sure that this is actually a 63 body. I'm pretty sure this is a race car body. As you'll see back here, it's got Lexan windows in it, and it's got these little hatches for the fuel cell and things like that. It's got a sheet metal wing, parachute, wheelie bars, the whole 9 yards. While we're on the subject of drag cars, let's take a look at this one that was for sale in swap meet. It's a 68 Corvette coupe, and you'll notice this thing's got a nice paint job on it. It's a pretty modern looking car. It doesn't have the big tires and wheelie bars and things like that, and that's because this is a stock eliminator car. It was set up for H stock automatic, and that means it's built to 327, 300 horse specs. And of course, a lot of these stock eliminator cars have some great internal tricks that you don't see. And this one's actually got a 12 bolt conversion in the back, although it is still independent. It's just got a 12 bolt center section with 514 gears. And I thought this car was priced very fairly at $29,000 or best offer. Now here's a wild one I saw in the car corral. This is a 57 Corvette, which is already a pretty desirable car. But this is a factory fuel injection car, and it still has fuel injection on it, and it's functional. It's actually a car you can get in and drive. The fuel injection was rebuilt by Larry Webb. He's a master of these mechanical fuel injection systems. This car's got a rebuilt T10 4-speed in it and a Pontiac rear end, and the paint on this car has been there since the 1960s. And even though this car is not original, it's nowhere close to being original, it still carries a lot of value because it didn't get completely cut up. So somebody could take this and put it back 100% original and have a really high dollar car, or you could just leave it like it is and go have fun with it and turn heads wherever you go. This car was for sale for $68,000. Here's another one that was for sale. This one's a 65 Corvette coupe. Now it says it had a body off restoration, but they preserved the 70s paint and the 70s body modifications. So you'll see that it's got a 67 big block hood. You'll see it's got fender flares and side pipes. This thing is definitely straight out of the 70s, but it's got a brand new 383 stroker in it, rebuilt 4-speed. It's ready to hit the road. If you like old school motion performance parts, you'll love this 68 Corvette because it has the whole catalog thrown at it. It's got fender flares, it's got the spoiler on the back, it's got the motion hood, and under that hood is a 454 that's bored 30 over, rated at 435 horsepower. It's got a roller cam in it, rectangular port heads, fly eye air cleaner. It's got the motion valve covers made by Anson. It's got a fiberglass fan. It's got all sorts of really great old school speed parts on it. And of course, it's all finished off with a set of slotted mags and raised white letter tires. So here's a pretty wild one. First thing we notice is this tail fin on the deck lid of this one. It's got wire wheels on it. It's got a pretty vibrant color combination. You'll notice the scoops in the cove area on the door. That's a custom piece. The emblems, those aren't really supposed to be there. That's all custom stuff. You'll notice it's got a 56 or 7 hood, but with the 58 washboard details. It's got a stretched front end. It's got all sorts of custom body modifications. And this is a tribute to the SR2 race car. Actually, this is a tribute to the SR2 custom street car that was built for GM President Harlow Curtis. And this is a really nice piece. It's definitely a high dollar car. I mean, it's hard to put a value on something like this that's a tribute, but it's definitely one of those things that you don't see every day. It's an odd combination, and it's definitely straight out of the 50s. All right, let's dig in a little bit with the swap meet parts. We're going to start off with a great collection of tri-power intakes, 2.4 intakes, single 4 intakes, and then some really cool early Corvette doors. You can see it's got some custom paint work on there. Good stuff here. This same booth had lots of Corvette body panels, just parts and pieces. A lot of this stuff was wrecked, a lot of it was ruined, but if you needed a little corner piece or you needed something original, this is where you'd get it. Now I have a fascination with old Corvette hoods that were used on hot rods, like this one with the scoop and the custom paint. But any of these parts like this, it's fun to just walk through and see what kind of stuff is in the mix, because it's not always just Corvette stuff. Sometimes you'll run across some old school speed parts. You never know what you're going to run across at a swap meet. In this case, we've got a set of side pipe headers, a really cool fuel tank, a blow-proof bell housing, lots of other GM bell housings, and this guy also had some magnesium mini light wheels. He was asking $2 grand for the pair, and these things were in absolutely perfect condition. Here's another really cool piece. This is an Offenhauser small block Chevy intake that holds 4 2-barrel carburetors. I also like these vintage Stuart Warner green line gauges, complete with the crusty bezel. That's a great combo. Now these Magnesium Americans were a little bit out of my price range, but they were absolutely flawless. Look at the finish on these wheels. These would bolt right onto a C3 Corvette. He was asking $4 grand for them. See what I mean? You got a factory fuel injection unit, snowflake intake, and a blower manifold. So you never know what you're going to come across in the swap meet. Here's a cool Survivor that was for sale in the swap meet. This is a 54 Corvette. This car has been together for a long time. I'm not saying this is original paint, but it's been restored and together for a long time. It's been in storage for 40 years. You can see the white walls are a little dingy. Some of the paint is starting to come loose. You'll see the engine bay is not pristine, but it's all there. Original 6-cylinder engine, and it says taking offers over $45,000 on this car. And these cars, to me, these things should be well over $100,000, but they're not. They're actually lower than most C2 Corvettes and some C3 Corvettes. So these things are really, to me, a really great value for the rarity that comes with it. All right, here's some fender flares for a C2 Corvette and another custom hood, this time with a teardrop scoop. Now this guy has some serious hardware in his booth, a lot of big block stuff. You got factory aluminum heads, aluminum intakes, you got tri-power intakes, multiple tri-power intakes, a lot of things for sale here. And these are big ticket items, big money items, because they're so rare and so hard to find in original condition. Over here he's got some more aluminum cylinder heads, some 2.4 setups, 4 speeds. I mean, this guy had it all. Now this was probably the best deal in the whole swap meet. This guy had a pair of 1971 Corvette convertibles. Now these things are rough. You can look at the body and see how bad this body is. Basically, when the resin all comes out of that fiberglass and you're left with that hairy finish, you got bad problems for body work. But you notice that big block under the hood, you got a 4-speed, you've got a complete interior. This car's up on wheels, and he's asking $7,500 for this car. So sitting next to it is another 71 Corvette, another big block car, and another car that has that resin just completely baked out of this car. Just hairy, stringy fiberglass. Big time project as far as ever trying to make these things slick and straight, but it is possible. And again, $7,500 for this car, and we'll walk over here and take a look under the hood in just a second. Big block Chevrolet, crusty as it can be, but it's all there. You notice that every piece of it's there. Nothing's been stripped off of it. Nothing's been robbed off of this car to go to another project. This thing is very original. We look inside and we got another 4-speed car. Blue interior. This is kind of like twins. One's a coupe, one's a convertible. Both 71s, both big blocks, both $7,500. What a deal. Now this guy had some crazy high dollar stuff, but this was my favorite component in all of his swap meet setup. This is a McCulloch supercharger, and it came off of a Corvette race car in 1960. And you'll see it's got the mounting bracket, the lower pulley. This thing is just about as complete as you can ask for such an early supercharger. Here's some more vintage speed parts. We got a pair of Predator carburetors. You don't see those very often. Gold Moroso valve covers, finned aluminum Edelbrocks, and we got a Ronco Magneto, complete with plug wires. That's a really nice looking setup there. Here's another really slick race car, and this one was for sale. It's a 67 Corvette Coupe, and this thing's got a 623 cubic inch Steve Schmidt racing engine in it. This thing is a work of art under the hood. The sheet metal intake, the 2 dominators, this thing is absolutely killer. The outside of this car is super slick, and you'll notice the big scoop on the hood, and it's also got ghost flames on it. So you can see right here in the sun, you can see those flames popping out, but in the shade, you couldn't see them at all. So really great fit and finish on this car. He's asking $100 grand for it, but there's no way you could build a car of this caliber with that killer of an engine for that amount of money. Here's another one for sale, and this one I feel like is a very fair price. This is a 68 Corvette Coupe. It's got a big block in it, it's got a 4-speed in it, and it's actually got some really neat vintage 70s pieces on it. It's got a L88 hood, it's got side pipes, it's got fender flares, it's got the Baldwin Motion style paint job on it, which is showing a little bit of age, but still a very neat piece. This car looks like it would hit the road just like it is, even if you wanted to spruce it up a little bit here and there. At $24,000, this seemed like a really fair price for a big block 4-speed C3 Corvette. And here's another C3, another one that's for sale, and this time it's a 72 Corvette Coupe, and it's been modified for lots of years. It was customized in the 70s, and the front end that's on this car is one of only 3 built in this configuration. It's got a rear spoiler, it's got fender flares, it's got the Baldwin Motion gas cap lid, it's got all the right stuff for the 1970s, of course the slotted mag wheels, raised white letter tires, and under the hood it's got a 350 with a 4-speed. It's a good combination. It's got air conditioning, so not only is it a little bit of a hot rod, it's also a pretty comfortable car you can get in and drive. And this car was listed for sale for $26,500. All right, I know this is supposed to be all Corvettes, but I spotted this 55 Chevy in the hotel parking lot and I had to take a look. You can see this thing's a little rough around the edges. It's a 2-door post. Inside of here, you got bucket seats, you got an old school steering wheel, old gauges up on the dash, 3-point Lakewood bar in this thing. Really cool combination of parts. And we'll back up here and see it's got some lettering on it. Kragers. This thing has got a killer 60s look. Out in the show field, I found a few cars that got my attention, and this is one of them. This is a 61 Corvette, and you'll notice it's got factory fuel injection, and under the hood of this thing, I mean, it looks like it's completely untouched. So this is a 315 horse combination. Fuel injection is all intact, and he obviously drove this thing in. You can see inside of here, looks really correct and very original. It's not been restored in any way. It's got that 4-speed shifter sticking up out of the console. And the paint on this car, I mean, it's got some serious age on it. I don't know if you could say this is original, but it's definitely old. And one thing that I really liked about it was the wheels. It's got a set of Hurst mag wheels on it that are really rare. Neat combination, just a great car in general. It's got a cool survivor look, and I'm glad to see somebody out enjoying it and driving it. Now, this Corvette was an absolute work of art. This is a 67 Corvette built to be a grand sport car. You'll see the huge flares, the different body modifications that set this thing apart from a regular Corvette. It's got that custom hood, and the paint on this thing is absolutely flawless. It's got a set of Halbrand wheels on it, some big wide BFG tires. Under the hood of this car is something really special. This is a 427, but it's not just any 427, it's an L88. It's one of only 116 built in 1969. And we look further on this car, it's got custom interior, it's got a beautiful paint job. Everything about this car is flawless and very tastefully done. Now, this one isn't flawless by any means, but it's got all the right pieces for a 70s or 80s build. You'll see it's got a blower, 2 4s, and a scoop sticking out of the hood. That's cool all by itself, but the rest of this car is just super cool. It's got a Hurst T-handle. You can see the paint's got some age on it. And then it's got some super wide aluminum slots on there with some old BF Goodrich radial TAs. Those are not the repops. Those are the real deal from the 70s. Now, this 61 Corvette doesn't have any crazy modifications, but when I was walking past it, I noticed that you could see through that black paint down to the primer. And that just means that this car's been painted a long time and somebody's really rubbed on it. They've brought that paint back to life several times throughout this car's journey, and that just means this thing has great history. Now, this car really got my attention, mainly because the color and the paint was really slick on it, and it's got some cool stripes, some cool details, and this thing is sitting really low, like much lower than you'd normally see a Corvette, and that's because it's got those giant flares. It's got American racing wheels with old BF Goodrich radial TAs, once again, not the repops. These are originals from the 70s or 80s. Side pipes, it's got the little spoiler on the back. This thing is absolutely full of old school modifications, but it's built in complete show car quality. I mean, this thing is slick. Now, I didn't get the story on this car, but this 61 Corvette has some history. There's no doubt about it. First off, right up here on the front, it's got some homemade toe tabs. So this thing was getting flat-toed somewhere back in the day. And notice that stripe that goes across the hood and the cowl panel? It continues on to that padded dash. So that custom interior features that stripe that goes right through the middle. You'll see it's two-toned everywhere else. And this car's got a roll bar in it. And you'll even see a continuation of that stripe on the roll bar. So back in the day, whoever built this thing was thinking it through. They had all the details covered, but you'll see that this car's got a number on the back, and I can't quite make out the class designation, but this is a really, really neat piece. Now, the only thing that they did as far as changing the outward appearance is the wheels and tires. It's got some modern torque thrust wheels and modern radial tires. I'd love to see this thing with some old school bi-sply tires, just like what it would have had. Notice the lettering, Quicksilver. Notice the striping in the cove area, really neat details. And of course, you got the Playboy bunny there on the driver's fender, and then some old stickers and things like that. This car, undoubtedly has some history. I'd love to dig in and find out more about it, but I enjoyed just making a couple of laps around it, and I wanted to show it to you guys. All right, it's time for more fender flares. This time we get extra points because we have a tilting front end. This car has got all the right pieces for a 70s or 80s build. It's got the wide slotted mags, the raised white letter tires. It's got side pipes. It's got, of course, this tilting front end that's very slick, very nicely done. And under the hood, it's a small block Chevy. You see it's got the Edelbrock equipment there. Inside, there's not a whole lot of customization, a Hurst shifter, and that's about it. But back here, big fender flares, giant rear tires, and of course an extra pair of taillights in the back. A special feature area at Corvettes at Carlisle was the Mean Corvettes exhibit, and this featured several Corvettes throughout all the generations that had pretty serious modifications for performance. Now, some of these were drag cars, some of them were just show cars or pro street cars or what have you, but this drag car really got my attention. This was a 69 Corvette Super Stalker, and it's got a 427 that makes 740 horsepower, turbo 400 transmission, Dana 60 with a 456 in it, and the ladder bar rear suspension underneath this car was done by Dick LaHaye Automotive Research, and then the car was updated to modern standards by JP Race Cars. So this car's got an absolutely slick Daytona yellow paint job with pearl over the top. It's got stripes and hand lettering that is absolutely beautiful, and it really does this car justice to have that true hand lettering and not just a bunch of decals. So a really neat piece of this car's history is the fact that Ralph Ronzello actually bought this car many years ago and then had a chance to buy it back in 2022. So what you see here isn't just a tribute to his old car, it's the real deal. Another really special car in that Mean Corvettes exhibit is Rod and Tina Sabury's 66 Corvette. Now this thing was an original 427 car, and it currently has a 427 in it, but it's a small block, and it's a rowdy small block. So this thing has got a complete custom paint job front to back. Even the engine bay has custom paint in it, and you'll notice the polished RC component wheels. This thing's got four-wheel disc brakes. It's got a 4-link suspension in the back with a narrowed 9-inch Ford, 456 gears. This thing is an incredible race car, and it's one of several Corvettes that Rod owns. Now this was a cool Survivor. It was for sale, but I don't know that this guy's real crazy about selling it. He talked to me a little bit and told me about how much he enjoys driving it, and he intentionally doesn't want to restore this car because then he'd be afraid of getting out and beating on it a little bit. And you'll see his little sign right here that says, "What's wrong with an old car that looks its age, 63 years?" Now, this thing is original interior. You'll see the paint. You know, it's not perfect by any means, but he's obviously having a good time with this car. Here's another one from the swap meet, and this is by far the widest Corvette I've ever seen. This is a 68 Corvette, and it has a tremendous body kit on it. I don't know where it came from or who built it, but it's wide. I mean, you could put probably a 14-inch wide wheel on the back of this thing and still have room to spare. You see it's got an extra pair of taillights in the back. I mean, this thing is wild. I wouldn't necessarily call this attractive, but it definitely got my attention. All right, here's another wild 70s custom, and this one has a pretty cool story. This is a 71 Corvette, and the owner ordered this car from Penske Chevrolet in Philadelphia in the fall of 1970. He actually ordered it through the mail while he was serving in Vietnam, and the car cost right at $5,000. And then the body work was done on this car in 1977 while he was stationed in Virginia Beach, Virginia. This thing still looks the same to this day. Even if you don't love all the body modifications and stuff that really dates this combination, it's part of what makes it cool. If this was just a stock 71 Corvette, I probably wouldn't have stopped to look at it. One of the feature areas at the show displayed the Corvette Challenge cars. These were C4 Corvettes, and they were all pretty much equally prepared, and they raced against each other across the country at different tracks. And the fascinating thing to me is that these cars haven't been changed. You can see they're still wearing their sponsor decals, their numbers, all of their race-ready components are still in place. So these things have been preserved for lots of years, and there were a bunch of these cars on display. So that's it for my coverage from Corvettes at Carlisle. Thank you for watching. but this thing really stood out to me. Definitely caught my attention, and that's because it is a legit old school race car. You can see that the paint, they've polished up that old green paint, but you can still see some wear and tear on it. It's got some battle scars here and there. It's got that old look, like old lacquer paint. Really shined up nice though. There's not a whole lot of information on this thing, and there's nobody with it as far as showing off the rest of it. I would like to see under the hood, but from what I've gathered, it's a 302 cubic inch small block Chevy with Hilburn mechanical fuel injection. And you know, you can't see much under here either because of the tonneau cover, but it is cool looking. The slick sticking out of the back, these have been replaced. These are modern recapped pie crust slicks, but they're mounted to magnesium American Racing wheels. Very authentic pieces there. Same with the front. These appear to be a more modern front runner tire, but they are magnesium American torque thrust wheels with no brake inside of there. So as I was reading about this car, the little information sheet says it was a gasser, and I don't know how accurate that is because gassers were required to have front brakes. I think they were required to have a roof also and a windshield. But this car certainly could have run in the modified sports car class in the mid 60s. It could have also run in the altered class. There were some different options, but I don't think it ran as a gasser. But this thing's got some cool pieces. You can see that taking the front bumpers off for weight savings. Took the grill out, put these little headlights in there, the moon tank with the little cast aluminum mounts. Those are really nice and very authentic. The headlights have been filled in for, again, for weight savings. You don't need headlights on a race car. You can see these super tall tires. You know, they probably had something very similar on it before. They had to notch this out where the tire was too tall and was going to interfere with the fiberglass body. But a really neat looking car. The chrome roll bar is cool. Little padded headrest, the tonneau cover, all these little details. These are all really cool pieces, and they appear to be original to the car. Now this combination was hard to ignore. We got a 57 Chevy Nomad pulling an aluminum trailer with a classic Corvette on the back. I'm assuming that's about a 57 Corvette. It's definitely got some aftermarket pieces on it. Both cars do. But it's a wild combination that turned heads all weekend long. Now this is a little more my speed right here. This is a custom paint job that has stood the test of time. You can see there is some age here, there's some damage, but for the most part you can still see that design, you can still see those colors, you can still see the stripes. This thing's got every trick in the book. It's got all the old school paint tricks with panel paint, it's got fades, it's got airbrush work, a little bit of everything on this car. You can even see a mural on the back with some sort of body of water here with a sailboat. Just a really creative paint job from back in the day. Definitely a 70s type paint job that somebody has preserved over the years and then added a set of wheels to this thing to freshen it up. If you know me, you know that I like stuff that's a little bit rough around the edges, but I couldn't walk past this car without showing it to you guys. This is an absolute masterpiece. This car has millions of dollars spent on it. It's definitely out of everybody's league as far as money, as far as budgets, as far as amount of hours spent on it. This thing is ridiculously cool too. It's got crazy proportions. It's a hand-built body. It's fashioned after an early Corvette, but it is completely custom, 100% front to back. You'll see inside of it, it's got a wild interior, and this thing has an LS12 engine. It's a V12 based off of the popular GM LS engine. Insane paint job, lots of chrome, lots of custom trim pieces. It's very deserving of the Riddler Award as well as the Triple Crown and any other events it goes to. You know this thing is a contender anywhere it goes. Here we got another custom C3 Corvette. This time we've got a stretched front end. Notice there's no headlights at all. I'm assuming they're tucked up under the grille. Lots of custom paint work. Look at that pearl shining in the sun. Some cool stripes, side pipes, big wide 5-spoke wheels and raised white letters, tunnel ram, 2 Fords, velocity stacks. It's got it all. Now here's a really cool setup also on display with the Junior Stalkers. This is a 57 Corvette, and you look under the hood, it's got a pretty stout small block, 2.4s. But the real interesting piece is when you look further back here. This car's actually got a trailer hitch on it, and it's got a custom single axle trailer with a front engine dragster mounted to it. So this is the ultimate combination, and believe it or not, these Corvettes and Tri-5s were actually used as tow vehicles quite often back in the day. And look at the combination on the front of this thing. It's got some really cool valve covers. Those are fin aluminum, but they've got risers to get them up high enough to clear roller rockers. And there's tons of great machined pieces on this thing. The engine mounts, lots and lots of great plumbing. Everything on this car is very sanitary. It's very clean. It almost looks like it's not even functional, but this car is functional. It's been raced here at Bowling Green in the past. So it's a great piece, and it looks so cool behind that Corvette. One of the most impressive cars out of the 2,600 plus cars in attendance was this 57 Corvette. And this is essentially a factory-built race car. Only 43 of these cars were built in 1957. And the list of options is pretty wild. So it all starts with that fuel-injected 283, but the real rare options come with the big brakes that are on this car, as well as the airbox. Now this airbox kind of looks crude, you know, it doesn't look fully finished like what you'd see on a show car like this, but this is how they were made. They were all handmade. All 43 airboxes were handmade, and they looked like this. And this car has such an incredible history, and it's so well documented that I'm planning on doing a full video to show you this car's full history. But I wanted to show it to you here. It was a very impressive piece, and it earned a top 25 award at the show out of those 2,600 cars. And it's just one of those things. It's a super clean restoration, but it's really the history that draws me closer to cars like this. C2 Corvette projects are in extremely high demand because you just don't run across an unrestored car very often. Obviously, this one needs a lot of work. It's very rough. It's had the front end cut off of it. The back part of the car is rough. Every piece of it's rough, but this is a starting point for somebody. It's a 63 Corvette convertible. The pieces are there. Somebody that knew what they were doing could make a real car out of this thing. They were asking 20 grand for this project. I'd say my favorite pro street car at the Spring Turkey Run was this 64 Corvette convertible. This thing's got bead locks on the back. It's got a cool stance. And then when you get around to the front of it, this is what pro street is all about. Big blower, big carburetors, and a giant scoop. This combination turns heads wherever it goes. The bright red paint was very slick too. I mean, this car was built very nicely, but the wow factor was undeniable. Here's an old Survivor, this 61 Corvette. You can see the paint starting to come apart on it. The interior is not perfect. None of the car is perfect, but they hit the road with this car and have fun with it, and that's what really matters. It doesn't have huge tires on it, but in terms of a first generation Corvette, this is pretty big. So they obviously had to bring the frame rails in, modify the body to fit that type of tire and wheel. This thing's got a great look to it, and it was for sale just like many of the other cars in attendance. Here's another pro street car, this time a mid-70s Corvette, and this thing has some beautiful candy apple paint on it, big tires on the back, wheelie bars, the whole 9 yards, and a blower with 2.4s sticking out of the hood. This is what the Daytona Turkey Run is all about. I love cars like this. We got complete bodies, we got pieces of bodies, we got parts and pieces everywhere, and we'll see later on some wheels for C4 Corvettes. We've got lots of 80s and 90s goodness. Speaking of Corvettes, check out this C3. So this thing is just a body. It's sitting right on the ground, and it's tore all to pieces. There's not a whole lot of usable stuff here, but it's still a really neat piece, in my opinion, because how often do you see an early C3, a chrome bumper car, sitting flat on the ground in the woods? So this thing's got a factory convertible hardtop sitting on it. That's a high dollar piece in itself, but it's just cool to see an old Corvette sitting out in the woods. Now this is a pretty cool one. This started as a 68 Corvette. So again, we've got an early chrome bumper C3 Corvette, but somebody's put an 80 model Corvette front end on it. It's got an aftermarket setup where it's got the spoiler down on the bottom. It's got a spoiler on the rear of the car as well. So this thing is definitely a wild combination. You can see it's got a hole in the hood. They obviously had plenty of motor in this thing where it had some stuff sticking out. This was a cool combination back in the day, and it's still got plenty of potential now. One of my favorite pieces in the collection is this 64 Corvette. Now, it obviously has been updated to a 67 Corvette front end and 67 Stinger big block hood, but this is a 64 Roadster, and you can see it's got a new quarter panel hanging on it. It had a blowout, it had some major body damage. This is a project that's in the works, but it's definitely something that's on the back burner. Mike's had this car for about 30 years. Now this was a super slick 65 Corvette. You can see it's a convertible with the optional hardtop. This is a full-on race car, big tires on the back, full cage, big old snorkel scoop. This thing made big time horsepower and ran deep into the eights. I always like seeing custom Corvettes, and this one is definitely radical. This is a 63 to 67 Corvette. You can see the 67 gills up there, but it's got fender flares, side pipes, 67 Stinger hood, and then it's got that little spoiler on the back, no back bumpers, 6 tail lights, no front bumpers either, no headlights that flip up, they're down in the grill. This is a wild custom car, and it's got a really good look with those big American 200S wheels on there. This is a pretty neat piece. These things look so cool, and you just don't see them very often anymore because most of these things have been restored back to original. This one looks like it's straight out of the 80s. It's got a killer setup. It's got that hardwood square scoop on it, good stance. You can see the headers poking out underneath. I don't know if that paint's been on there for lots of years, but either way, it's a great looking race car, and he was running it hard. This is a 1958 Corvette. This car was previously campaigned by Tommy and Jan Jones out of Section, Alabama. Unfortunately, Tommy passed away and this car got sold, and it ended up in Kentucky, and now it belongs to Ronnie Jones. No relation there, but Ronnie owns this car now, and he's still getting it out and showing it. It's also been in a museum for a little while, but I'm glad to see it out in the daylight. This thing has made lots and lots of passes down drag strips in Tennessee and Alabama and Georgia, and it's just a really cool car with a lot of neat history. Here's a really neat race car, this 56 or 57 Corvette. It's definitely beat up, it's definitely rough, but you can see that this thing has some cool racing history. It's got the number 16 and BP lettered on the side of it, and you can see that roll bar sticking way up, no windshield other than just a small little windscreen, but this thing has got so much character. You can see the paint's pretty rough on it, it's coming apart, but it is so cool. It's got plain black steel wheels. It's got the remnants of the original interior, which has got red seats and red door panels, and of course that iconic dash with the two-tone coloring. And it's got a couple of aftermarket pieces here. It's got a tack up on the dash and some vintage gauges in the dash as well. So many cool details here. I didn't get the full story on this car, but when you see something like this, you know there's some history behind it. This is a 64 Corvette Coupe. You can see it's got an L88 style hood scoop. It's got a small block in there with air conditioning, A lot of people got air conditioning on this hot summer day, but check out the back side of this car. This car's got some big tires, big rally wheels that have been widened in the back. It's got 6 tail lights. But let's take a look underneath this thing because it has a very odd setup. This is actually a narrowed, independent rear suspension. So a lot of times if you see a tubbed Corvette, it's going to have a 9-inch Ford or 12-bolt or Dana 60, and this thing's actually got a cut down and narrowed IRS system from a 64 Corvette. It's a very unique setup. I love a good hot rod Corvette, and this one is pretty wild. You can see on the inside here, metal flake steering wheel. It's got multiple shifters in there, roll cage. I mean, this is a cool combination, and look at that blower and injector hat standing real tall out of the engine bay. And this is all put together with an LS engine combination. This is a blend of a new engine combination with old school Roots supercharger and injector hat on an old school gasser. This old school Corvette, I mean, this thing's got weathered paint. It's got a cool stance. You can see those slicks poking way out of there. It's got some great old lettering on it. It has A modified sports car designations on it, but obviously this thing's running in the gasser class. It's got a cool plexiglass scoop, mechanical fuel injection stack sticking up out of it. The old paint has a lot of flaws, but it also has a lot of character, and it makes this a really special 57 Corvette gasser. Here's another cool C-Gas car, this time an early Corvette, and this thing's got a great stance, slotted mags, and it's got some very nice lettering. You see that gold leaf with the shadows. I mean, somebody did some killer work there. It's got a really cool looking hand-formed aluminum scoop, and as we back up here, you can see this thing has a great gasser stance. Next up, we've got a really cool Corvette. This is a 1969 Corvette race car, and the really special part about this is it was a Copo car. So that means it was a specially ordered car, and it's powered by the famous L88 427. These things were rated at 430 horsepower, but everybody knows they made more than that and had a lot of potential to make well over 500 horsepower. So this one's got a really cool looking vintage paint job. This thing is slick. It's got big old tires on it, big side pipes, cool mini light style wheels. This thing has the right look. Of course, the L88 scoop up front bumper's been taken off, This thing's got the perfect late 60s, early 70s race car look. As we get further back in the barn, you'll see this mid-70s Corvette, and it's looking pretty rough, but really all this thing needs is a wash job because this car was really slick at one time. It's another car that my dad painted. This thing was actually underwater, and they saved it and brought it back, painted it, put a big block in it, of course, and fixed the interior. Really made this a really nice show car in the 80s. During this time, Denny's job was at the Oster factory in Dayton, and they made toaster ovens and all kinds of different appliances and things like that. So they had a full chrome shop inside the building, and he would take his car parts and run it through the chrome shop, and he had all sorts of cool chrome stuff. Another old drag car that I really love is Ed McLeod's 1963 Corvette convertible. This thing has been in storage since 1970. It was originally based out of New Jersey. This thing ran with a fuel-injected small block, and this thing only has 23,000 miles on it. It is a beautifully preserved car, absolutely cool. It's got 5-spoke wheels on the front, steel wheels on the back, skinny super stock style slicks on the back. Just a timeless old school race car right here. And I can't help it that I'm a little bit partial to light blue Corvettes of this generation since I got one here in the garage. And this one's definitely a hot rod. It's got crazy flames, a big cowl hood, some centerline wheels with little bitty front runners and some wide ones on the back. And apparently this thing actually started life as a 78 model 25th anniversary car. All right, I found another new favorite, this time a 73 Corvette. And these things are kind of weird because they're a 1-year only body. They got a rubber bumper on the front, which you can see has been molded in on this car. So it's got already like a Baldwin Motion look to it, a Mako Shark look. It's got a L88 scoop on it. It's got side pipes. And as we get around to the back of it, you'll see that it's got a Baldwin type stripe on the back. So this thing's got a really good combination of stuff. It's got American wheels with some big fat radials on it. This is a really cool car, and it's got a big block in it. I'm always amazed at the 70s combinations that pop up at the Street Rod Nationals, and this is a perfect example. This is a 72 Corvette that looks like it's stuck in the 70s. It's got a wild flame job. It's got turbine wheels, side pipes, fender flares on the back. It's got a hole cut out in the hood, and it was for sale for $19,500. I thought that was a pretty fair price for a wild Corvette.